Yes? Well, you know what? If you have to fall to one side or the other, you'd be a lot better off being an extreme Christian than you would be an extreme psycho. Whatever, I don't even know what the word would be. If you have to fall one way or the other, I think you'd probably be better being an extreme good person than an extreme nutcase. But how do you do that is the question, right? I think probably maybe one of the most important things is having a good foundation of what you believe to start with. You know what I mean? If you know what you believe to begin with, and if you've done some studying of if you've done some searching yourself, if you've answered some really basic important questions yourself, then you're much more equipped. You're much more well equipped to see something and go, oh, okay, yeah, I get it. But it's not going to affect what I believe or what I feel, you know? It's kind of like the Da Vinci Code. Okay, this is a stupid movie. I'm sorry. I mean, there's no... In fact, you know what's funny to me about this movie? It is. And you know what's funny, you guys? I saw an A&E special where they interviewed the author. The author! The guy that made it up. And you know what he said? I just made it up. There is no scientific or historical basis at all for any of the assertions of that movie. None, none, none. He made it up to seem like there was, and you've got kooks and crackpots around the world going, this could really be true. We should probably worship this. We should start a whole religion. But you know what? Those are the people that watched that movie with no basis in what they believed already. Those are people that go in with no foundation of what they believe is right based on what they've learned or studied or been or someone shared with them that you know what I mean, that their life is founded on. And they watch something like that and they go cuckoo. You know what I think? I see you, and I do want you to share. Sweet Carrie Savage is here, you guys. Give it up. Carrie is also a sweet Christian friend and voice actress as well. And yes, and we've done a couple of these together. I'm glad she's here. You know what I think? And this may be kind of a lofty answer. I think something in you knows when you watch something that you shouldn't. Would anyone disagree with that? It may not be a very loud voice, but it's there. I think something inside you goes, So what you do in that moment, do you keep watching? And if you do, then what happens is what we call dulling your senses, desensitizing you. And the next time you watch something, it may just be You'll still feel it, you'll hear it, but it won't be as loud as it was the first time. And if you just push through it and keep watching, the next time it won't bother you as much again. Because you originally, when you first started, you had that sense of right or wrong, or appropriate or inappropriate, or good or not so healthy. But the more you push it down, the more you turn a deaf ear to it, the more you ignore it, the less you'll be able to hear it. Until you get one day to a world where people do things and you watch it on television and you go, how could a human being ever do that? Well, I promise you they didn't start that way. It was a progression. It was a whole list of little choices through their lives that turned them one day into Lord knows what. Now, I know I'm talking on a bigger scale here, but that, I believe, is the core of the answer as well. I think you know when something you turn on and let go into your eyes and into your mind is not really the best thing in the world. You know it. And what you choose to do in that moment is going to really set the stage for later.
That's right on target. Do you know why that is, I think, though? Because God so gave us free will, and He wants you to choose Him because you want Him. Basically, He's begging us to let Him love us, basically. But if you get that little voice that says, mm-mm, and you keep watching, you're telling Him, no, I'd rather watch this. I kind of don't want you here. And He's going to respect that, and He's going to step back. He won't ever leave you. You can only leave Him. But you have that sense because He's talking to you. He's always talking to you. And if you say no, He's going to say, okay, okay then, okay. And He won't leave. He'll sit back there and watch. But next time you're saying no even more, He's going to, okay, I have to, you're telling me that you don't want me here, okay, basically. But I think another thing about keeping your mind and heart pure, the Bible does say, biblical, sorry, but the Bible does say to fill your mind up with what He says and what He says about you and His Word. That does put your mind on a different level to where things that are bad will kind of affect you more. They will bother you more. Also, if you are a Christian, I find that if you walk away from the church, if you stop spending time with other people who believe the same way that you do, your values will slide. And whoever you spend your time with, they'll become more... Now, saying that, most of my friends are not Christians, but if you don't spend time with God and you don't spend time with other people who believe the same way that you do, the values will start to slide in a way that you don't notice until someday you're doing something that a year ago you would have never done. And that's part of it. I think another thing is... the more you get to know who God is and how much He loves you, when you know, you guys, man, I hear Him. Lately, all I hear God saying is, please, I just want to love you. Just let me love you. That's all. And if you can get even the width of this part of my fingernail, okay? I don't even know what that measures, the sharpness of it. If you can get even that sense of how much He loves you, you don't want to do things that you're not supposed to do anymore. And you don't want to watch things because you're so taken over by this God who worships the ground you walk on and who adores you so much that you know that if you do things you're not supposed to do, that it's kind of going to bring you further away from Him. And you don't want to because, oh my gosh, when you figure out how much He loves you, you love Him back so much. So that's another thing that I really believe what can help people live the life they're supposed to live is getting to know God for who He really is and letting Him love them. And He'll tell you, if you ask Him, God, I have no clue, I've been told my whole life you love me and I just, I don't get that. If you ask Him, He will start to show you and He will start to tell you. And once that happens, it really changes who you are.